So good evening all. Okay. So there are 3 questions today, I believe. See the first question for the day, and all the 3 questions are by and large related to the terrorism. So it is international security related with international security. So see the first question and give the framework. Analyze the complexity and intensity of terrorism, its causes, linkages, and obnoxious nexus. See the question again. Analyze the complexity and intensity of terrorism, its causes, linkages, and obnoxious nexus, and also suggest measures required to be taken to eradicate the menace of terrorism. So very recent question. So question with a lot of dimensions. Think carefully and give the framework. Yeah. Yeah. Bhaskar. Rajni. Good. Bhaskar, yes. You can briefly describe the terrorism. Then what is the second dimension of the question? So the complexity and intensity of terrorism you can definitely mention. Then will be the causes, linkages, and the nexus, and then give the measures and the way forward. Good. So you can see the demand of the question is across wide spectrum, and such questions, though they are 2 or 3 lines, you need to have the dimensions clearly in your mind. If you are going to miss any one part, and you may have written a brilliant answer. See, actually the answer for this question is not at all tough. Let me be honest. If I write the answer, you write the answer, anyone writes the answer, the content is going to match for 80 to 90%. The same things we'll write, because what are the causes of terrorism? What is terrorism? What is the complexity, intensity? What is the nexus? What are the measures to eradicate? Every one of us know. Any serious aspirant for mains will be knowing this. The problem is you have to attempt all the dimensions of the question. Unless you are not doing that, you are losing marks. For example, if it's a 15-marker question, you might have written measures very well. If you are not writing causes and linkages, you will straight away lose 5 marks. Hence, be extremely careful while answering these kind of questions, because content wise they are very easy, but you have to answer various dimensions. So coming here, what are the various dimensions? The first is the terrorism. So what is terrorism? Basically, it is a illegal warfare. If something which is done by the state is called war, but terrorism is illegal usage of violence or force against the state. In general, it is against the state or the people, and the force which is being used is illegal or not recognized. It is not like a nation is fighting with nation. It is some pseudo element or some XYZ is fighting with a nation. So hence, the terrorism is an illegal war or illegal use of force. Okay, then what else you can write? That is the definition of terrorism. Then what are the complexity and intensity of the terrorism? What is the complexity? The terrorism is like spread over regions. The complexity is spread over because it is spread over regions. If you take the case of ISIS, it is recruiting people across the world. And it operates in a very secretive way, like sleeper cells. We do not know who are terrorists and who are not. And then it is complex because it is not a systematic force. It is like a guerrilla warfare. Fedayeen attacks. The terrorists are ready to take off their lives for creating the havoc. So that kind of attitude is there. Hence it becomes complex, and it is integrated or it is spread over multiple countries, and it doesn't have any particular what do you call it? Any geographic territory as such. Hence it is complex. And then what is intensity? Intensity is huge because it is creating havoc. It is creating loss of life of public, loss of property, human trafficking, drug trafficking. All these are the impact of terrorism. The intensity of terrorism is huge because terrorism as a particular threat to the global peace is increasing day by day. And number of terrorist groups are increasing, and hence the intensity of terrorism is more. And next, come to the next part, causes of terrorism. Mainly the causes of terrorism. What are the causes of terrorism? Underdevelopment of a country, religious fundamentalism, no proper employment, creation of pseudo wars by the countries. That is also one important aspect of cause for terrorism. Ethnic identities. And finally, poverty. So these are some of the reasons or causes for terrorism. So what are the linkages and obnoxious nexus? What do you mean by obnoxious nexus? Dangerous nexus. What is nexus? It is going hand in hand, the relationship between various agencies. So what are the linkages and obnoxious nexus? Terrorism is linked with the global peace. So it is causing a disturbance to global law and order through crimes. And then terrorism is linked with human trafficking, drug mafia, money laundering. So this is the obnoxious nexus of terrorism with other issues. And terrorism is also dictating terms to many countries and their governments. And some governments are secretly supporting terrorism. Those are called state-sponsored terrorism. That is also an obnoxious nexus. So these are the linkages. Then what are the measures required to eradicate the menace of terrorism? First is the international cooperation. First line you have to write international cooperation. Then development, sensitization of youth, de-radicalization, proper boundary management, border management, cutting the access to the terrorist organization, cutting the financial access to the terrorist organization, countering the religious fundamentalism, the FATF, OECD, involving international law and order agencies like Interpol. All these are important aspects of eradicating, and within nation development, addressing the poverty and underdevelopment, so on and so forth. So these are the important aspects in such required to be taken to eradicate the menace of terrorism. And then conclude saying that terrorism is like an ulcer to the world peace. If allowed to propagate, it will create a very big impact in the law and order of the world. The need of the hour is that various nations should come together and address this issue, and also the countries which are sponsoring the state-sponsored terrorism should concentrate on development. And only when there is a united effort in mitigating this issue, there will be a solution to this global disorder. Clear? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
You have straight away come to causes. You have to write the complexity and intensity, Renuka. Renuka, you are in the class? Okay, the causes are good. Okay, you have written causes and linkages and obnoxious nexus. Okay. Good. Measures. You can write few more measures as we have discussed. Okay. India should play a proactive role, not necessary. India is already playing a very proactive role. The need of the hour is the entire world should stand together against this menace. Okay. Of course, India is playing an active role, no doubt about it, but the entire world also should come together and address this issue.